Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome to another Club 100 video. This time we are at Lydd, all the way on the south coast. In fact, you can almost see the sea from the circuit. I think this is round 8 of the championship, our 7th round of the season. So for our first heat, we're starting down in 5th place, which means we're lucky enough to be on the inside. So as per usual, we didn't do any practice prior to the heat. So this first heat is always a case of us relearning the circuit. I've done Lydd once before, which was the endurance last year, and I didn't do very well. I didn't get a lot of chance to really practice. But anyway, away we go. So the first corner is this right-left chicane, and we've got the inside, so we don't really lose any position. Stan Seeger starting on the outside. He's been getting mugged off a little bit, and we're just trying to find a way through. And while Seeger and Penny have their little duking it out, we try to take advantage of it. But Dan's on my inside, so I kind of have to let him go through. He points ahead, and I'm all for working with Dan because he's a quick driver, and we should be able to work together to catch up to the two at the front of this field. That being said, I'm fairly happy with how this has gone, because right now I'm sticking with Dan, and we're catching up to the front too. And for those of you new to these videos are highlights. The A finals I try to include like the entire race, because the A finals are always good fun. But the heats, when nothing happens, I do skip a bit. That being said, this first heat, a lot of stuff does happen. We kind of missed the curb through that second chicane. I kind of learned over the course of the day that you really want to get onto it. And to be honest, this whole day was a case of just improving, getting a little bit better, learning about different overtaking points and how to race at Lydd, I guess. So Dan makes a move on the guy ahead, and we're able to close right on in, but not quite close enough to make a move. And yeah, I guess we're just a little bit back through this double right-hander. We don't get the best of runs imaginable, but yeah, it's a decent one nonetheless. Through the chicane once more, and yeah, right now we're just sitting in P4, kind of waiting for an opportunity to present itself. Again, we get a good run out of the second chicane, but we can't quite get a run. I think that is Martin Theodoro, who is right in front of me. He goes defensive then into the third of the chicanes. I guess this is a chicane. It's a right into a long left-hander that then leads onto the back straight. And again, we get a good run, but nowhere to go. So I just have to sit behind for now, and we all kind of have slipstream as Dan makes the move and goes up into the lead, and I get pushed from behind. It puts me wide, and as a result, someone slots up my inside. I'm not sure who that is. I think that's Callum Martin, who's done that. But yeah, I was a little bit upset about that one. But hey, it means that we've got another place to try to gain. Our lap times weren't good at all. They were terrible in this first heat. They were pretty bad in the second heat as well. It was only in the third heat that I kind of learnt the track a bit once I was behind some of the quicker guys, which we'll see in a little bit. We get a good run onto this back straight, but again, we kind of just have to sit behind. Martin's found a way up into second, and whoever that is runs wide, and that allows me to gain a position, move up a bit. And I was a little bit unhappy with well, pardon me, I was a little bit unhappy with Callum Martin for what he did, so I decided to hang it all the way around the outside into the chicane, and somehow I pulled the move off. Like, hands down, my favourite move of the day, because it's a ballsy move to go around the outside into there, because if the guy on your inside wants to be, you know, funny, he can just yeet you off the circuit. But thankfully, that time round I got given space, and we're up into P3. And from this point, it was me just trying to catch up to Martin up ahead. And to be honest, I did kind of do that. Our pace, you know, improved over the course of the race. This lap 45.2, which I think was my best lap of the race, actually. Sorry, I did a 45.1 at some point, so not this lap. But I'm catching up. And this was the first lap that I was really back within striking distance. And we're just that a little bit quicker, kind of everywhere. Martin using the curb on the exit of the corner, which I later started to do because it is a quicker way around. And we just catch up a lot through that long left-hander. I was tending to run a little bit wider than most people, which kind of compromises me onto this straight, and I'm kind of close, and in the end I decided to send it because I thought it was the last lap of the race, so I thought, okay, I've got to go for the move. Turns out it wasn't, it was a penultimate lap, and now we're on the final lap of the race, and I was like, well, I guess we're clear, we're in second, just make sure I don't make any silly mistakes, and this is practically joint equal to my fastest lap of the race, 45.1, but anyway, we ended up finishing in second, and a fairly good second considering we started in fifth. So to go from fifth to second is not a bad way for our race to go. Our second heat was starting down in P8, I think it is, 2468. I was supposed to start in ninth, but I think someone who was meant to start in third didn't show up, so it promoted me up into 8th, and this one's going to be a difficult race because it's my lowest grid start of the day, and I'm on the outside into the first chicane, so we tried to kind of hang it on the inside. There's a bit of a moment with Martin who almost goes sideways coming out, and again we're still on the outside, still left with nowhere to go, but eventually we are able to slot in. I think we dropped down to about P9, P10, so not the best of starts, but not really much you can do when you're starting on the outside. You're just at the mercy of the people on the inside, and usually it's just best to forfeit a positions just so you can get into the train of karts. Next race is at Rye House, and Rye House is going to be interesting starting on the outside because it's a very, very long right-hander to start the lap. That is Callum Martin going up the inside, so I decide to try to follow. It doesn't work. Stupid move from me, 100%. I thought I could make something happen, but yeah, daft move. So I guess I was still trying to learn and like overtaking opportunities here at Lydd, because I had already found out that you can send someone into the final corner, but yeah, not in the middle of the corner, as we end up having a send into this hairpin, which we kind of pull off, but we don't quite get the exit, and as a result we drop back behind whoever this is that we're battling. That being said though, I think I get a much better run here. I've got a much better line into the left-hander, but too far back. Either way, the closing speed is really good, but maybe I've got a slightly better kart than him, or maybe he's got a bit of a bad kart. But either way, we make the move, and then I get a push from him, and he pushes me into the final corner, and I lose 2 positions, and I was very, very upset with that. Because I just got through and I could have caught up to the group ahead, and I knew I had the pace to catch them, but it happened. Yeah, it was the second time today that happened. It even happened in the A finals. Ed Bars did a similar thing to Fraser Brunton, but Ed got a penalty for it, and nobody in these races did get a penalty, I don't think. So it's whatever. It was it was just frustrating as I have a look up the inside. Not quite going to be able to pull that one off, so have to slot back in behind and lose a whole bunch of time through the double right-hander. So that is Matt Ellis in front of me. I'm not sure who the guy is with the blue suit and the blue helmet. I actually don't know who that is. I think it might be, I want to say Andy Berry, but it might not be. Either way, decent run through the right-hand hairpin as we make our way into this right-left chicane. Again, I was actually quite liking taking the curb on the entry into this, and Matt clips the curb, and I just decided to push Matt along because I know we're both faster than the guy ahead, and I didn't think I had enough overspeed to have it go up the inside, so I thought, well, I'm better off just pushing Matt then, if that's the case. Is that me getting a penalty? No, it's not. Into the first chicane, you actually carry so much speed into that corner, and we get, again, a relatively good exit. We catch up to Matt on the exit of the corner into this second chicane, which is really tough because it's actually surprisingly slippery into that corner. And now we head into that right-hand hairpin once again, where I was losing time to everyone, and it was only after heat 3 that I kind of figured out what I wanted to do. Matt makes a very nice move up the inside. I have a think about following, but the door was always going to get slammed shut, so kind of avoid making a silly mistake. And now I'm just waiting for an opportunity to make a move on Mr. Push Me out wide through the final corner. I don't know. That final corner was a weird one for me at Lydd. The 3 incidents there in 3 heats in a final, so an interesting way for it to go. But we get a pretty good run out of this chicane, and we go all the way up on the curb, up the inside. I'm not given much room, so it kind of affects me under braking, and I wasn't happy with him anyway for pushing me, so I wasn't going to give him any space as, you know, returning the favour as it was. Anyway, now we're up into P9, and well, considering I started P8, I wanted to finish at least in P8. So now it's just a case of trying to catch up to Mr. Matt Ellis and seeing if I can get another position, because every single position matters. Then skipping over to lap 8, we gain a hell of a lot of time through that opening chicane. Do we have a look up the inside? We're a bit too far, and Matt slams the door shut. But we get a really good run out of the next chicane. So those chicanes were pretty good for me today. We take a very nice wide line into this corner. We get a insane run. Can we go up the inside? We can. Matt leaves room. I'm not sure if he wanted to close the door, if he wanted to defend, or was just a bit late with it. I think he said after the race to me that he just wanted to sit behind and maybe we could catch up to the guys ahead. And I did want to catch up to them because we had a couple of laps to go and they were battling fairly hard. To be honest, I think in hindsight I could have finished this race in 5th, but there we go. We end up finishing, I think we were 1.8 seconds behind the guy ahead, which was Liam Nolan. So yeah, unfortunate, but there you go. So our 3rd heat then, we starting down in P2, or up in P2 I should say. Get a thumbs up from Jacob, who's on pusher car duty for the day. And I wasn't really sure what to expect. Into turn 1 would be on the outside, waiting for the lights to go green. I do a little left just because I was ahead of first, but I'm able to tuck in behind, and we're in second out of the first sequence of corners, which is really good. And the main thing for me in this race was I had Ed Bars and Mike Hoppin further down, so I knew I had to get into the lead as quickly as possible and just try to pull away so that they couldn't catch me by the end of the race. So we get a good run out of the hairpin, up the inside we go, and just like that we are into the lead. And from this point it was just me getting my head down and me just trying my best to push and pull away from the group behind, which I was doing a relatively decent job at, but I still hadn't, you know, fully learned the circuit. There's still a lot for me to learn. There still is a lot for me to learn at this circuit actually, but I'm kind of there. Anyway, on lap 6, a 45.4, and that was unfortunately the kind of lap times that I was doing when I was by myself, all mid 45, so 45.5, 45.4, 45.5, and then this lap was another 45.4. So I should be lapping in like 44 zeros, which I ended up doing once Ed Bars got past me, because I make this mistake. I carry way too much speed into the right. That cost me, and that just lets Ed get right up alongside me. You'll see me lift. You'll see my right foot comes off the throttle, because I know there's no point battling Ed at that point. Just sit behind. So after this lap, the rest of my laps were 45.1, 44.9, 45.0, 44.9. So after Ed got past me, I ended up finding half a second a lap, and that's just how important it is when you're at a new track and you're trying to learn the circuit. Having someone quick in front of you, yeah, is really important, because in the 4 laps that I was behind Ed, I lost 6-7 tenths to him. I mean, you can see the gap, whereas he gained about 2 seconds on me in the 4 laps prior to him getting past me. So that's just the difference that it makes. And I think I probably found like another 10th a lap at some point in the A finals, or maybe I was still at that pace. So unlike Bayford, unlike Wilton, I don't quite have the pace to be able to match the very top guys, but I'm kind of in the best of the rest field now after that 3rd heat. So for our A finals, we're starting in P10, which is, I think, actually my best starting position for an A final. I can't remember where I started in GYG. But we're on the outside once again, which is not the best, but let's see what we can do with it. So again, you can't really get a good start. Dan kind of goes to the right, then comes to the left, so we have a bit of a coming together, and we're able to move over to the inside. So now Reese pokes our man to kind of push along. We get to the corner, we leave a bit of room so we don't load him too hard, and the cars kind of just come across me. But Dan, again, on the outside, he's just screwed. So that means that I get to go up his inside and get to gain a position. Reese gives the old point to the helmet, point forward, let's work together. And I say, you know what, I'm happy with that, because right now this is a good position and it's a long race. Reese is probably quicker than me as well, so I'll try to work with him. That left-right, I think I'm losing a tenth a lap on. I think I just carried too much speed into the right and it just cost me through the left. We get a good run, so again, behind Reese, give Reese a push, try to help him along. And they end up coming together of sorts. Nothing I can do about that, so I decided, right, I'll go on the outside, have a look on the outside, but yeah, that's never really going to work out. So we end up dropping in position, and then Reese is on my inside, I think. Yeah, so he gives me, he leaves me room, bit of a push, he points forward, so let's work together. But going into this right-hander, someone's right behind Reese, so I end up dropping another position. So from possibly gaining 2 positions, I end up losing 1 position, and it's just how chaotic finals can be, heats can be in karting. But that's the whole fun of it, and that's why I'm doing the Sprint Championship this year, to kind of learn that, to improve on that racecraft, essentially. We get a good run, though, through the chicane on our 3rd lap of this race into the 2nd chicane, and again, I'm just waiting for an opportunity to get by whoever this is right in front of me. I go defensive because someone is right on my rear end. I'm going to assume it's Dan Seeger. It might be Sam Essery, actually. One of those two, I believe. Either way, through the long left-hander, again, we get an okay run. Do I go defensive? Is someone right behind me? No, I don't think so. So I just want to catch back up to this train, because the slipstream's really good here. And if you can get involved in the tow, that's fantastic. So I've got half a lap to try to catch up to these two, and then work with them to catch up to, I think that is Tyler Mays up ahead, and I'm not sure who he's battling with actually right now. But yeah, that's the plan for me, and we'll see if I can actually close in. To be fair, I think I've done a good job, and those two are catching up to the 2 up ahead, and this is going to become a 4-way battle. They're going side by side, so that kind of holds everyone up a bit, brings me to play. But again, I go wide and I lose so much time on the exit. So yeah, next time I go to Lydd, I'm not making that mistake. I don't know, I was just getting it wrong. I was trying to carry more and more speed into that final corner, which is why I went a bit wide, because I was just trying to find where the limit of grip was, and just how fast I could go through there. Actually, I think that's Sam Essery and Tyler Mays were battling, or maybe it's George Line. It's one of the two. I think George Line is currently in 4th in the orange helmet, further up the road. But again, 45-1 on this lap time. Reese goes up the inside of Sam Essery, and I'm able to follow through. And I think I just helped Callum Martin on his way up, and with that we are up into, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we're in P7, which is pretty good, and at the end of the day would have actually been a win in the C2 class, because Callum Martin ended up finishing in 7th at the end of the race. So on to lap 6. This is a 45.8, so not a good lap, so I'm guessing there's a lot of battling. Callum doesn't have the best of run, so we catch right up to his rear end, and right now I can see that the top 3 are really battling, so I don't want to really battle with Callum. I just want to push him along, because they're battling so hard that if we work together, we will catch up to that group. So that was my plan. And then going into this right-hander, I just get a shunt from Reese, and then Reese just takes the position, which, yeah, again, not too happy with that one. Again, no penalty for Reese, which, I don't know, to me that just felt like a massive bump and pass. So yeah, I've been bumped and passed 3 times today. It was only in that 3rd heat where it didn't happen. So, I mean, I wasn't too unhappy because Reese is quick, so if I can get onto the back of him, I can still catch up to this group, and we've still got a good few laps remaining in this race. So that's the plan. But at the same time, I was right on the back of Callum Martin, and because of that, fallen all the way back down. So yeah, it just feels like a silly way to lose a whole bunch of time. But I think Reece was maybe he was a bit upset with me from when I passed him into that corner. I don't think I pushed him. Maybe I squeezed him on exit. Either way, into this final double right-hander again, just carrying a lot of speed into the first bit and then kind of trying to point and squirt it on the exit. I don't think it's the quickest way around, so if anyone's going to Lydd, don't do that, because yeah, it didn't feel fast, and I don't think it's fast. So this lap though is pretty good. This is a 44.8, so this is, I think, my fastest lap of the day. I think I go a couple of hundredths quicker on another lap, but that late apex through that hairpin did feel really nice. So because before I was taking like a mid apex, but then there's a lot of grip on that corner, so you can leave it out wide for longer without understeering or having any trouble finding grip. But this lap, I think we're falling back a little bit from Reece. I think Reece Pope put in a 44.6 at some point, so yeah, he was just one of the quickest laps of the day entirely. So yeah, I think someone did a 44.5, Bryn Albin, who I think is a couple of positions behind me at this point in the race. So, well, the leading group are all now just one big group, so if they do any more battling, I will catch up. Because right now I'm about, what, half a second behind Reece? But they're all in the turn, so if they work together, they kind of pull away from me. Carrying a bit too much speed into this corner. Again, it compromises me. So that's the one thing, kind of looking back at this video, that I was doing really badly. That right-hander into left. As we go into the final couple of corners again, and we start lap 10 of the race. So that lap was a 44.801, and that's with me messing up that right-left, so that could have been a 44.7. So we're already right onto the back of this train. Again, I kind of missed that curb, which cost me on exit, as is quite clearly visible. Reece goes up the inside of Callum Martin, and that brings me into play as Tyler Mays isn't very happy. So I'm pushing Reece Pope along. He goes up the inside of George Line, and it just gets all a little bit muscly. Someone squeezes me a little bit, but we hold on to the position. We don't get a good exit because of that contact, so now we've got Tyler Mays up my inside, and this is where things get really bad, because I'm on the outside, and yeah, just left with nowhere to go, and yeah, end up getting flown out of the car. You can actually see, if you watch it like in slow motion, you can see my right foot. You can see the position of it, and you can see that when it goes into the second barrier, the position just gets weird, and I kind of just fall out of the cart with it. Thankfully, though, nobody else hits. And actually, if you watch the replay back, when I first hit the tyre barrier, I do a full 360, and then I get hit by someone behind me. So I get rear-ended, whereas if I was side-on and I got hit on the side, there would have been a much bigger accident. But because I get hit from the back end, the cart can actually move forward, so there's not a big impulse of force. You know, their momentum doesn't just stop and whack into me and go through me. So yeah, very lucky that I didn't get thrown out of the cart early, or like actually hit by a cart myself. So yeah, to be honest, I was just a bit sad, I guess, that I couldn't, you know, continue to fight for a podium in C2. But yeah, bit of a sore neck, a couple of bruises, but a lot of fun racing. So Rye House is the next race on the calendar, and that's actually a circuit that I know fairly well after an endurance round last year, where I had pretty good pace actually. So yeah, we'll see how Rye House goes. But until then, see you all guys later. Thanks for tuning in, and if you haven't already, drop a like and subscribe. See you all next time.